I'd like to welcome you all to our June 9th, 2007 nature walk here at the Forestall Preserve. Today we're going to explore the Klondike Canyon trails. And let me make some introductions. My name is John Nieto, and this Land Conservancy walk takes place every second Saturday of the month. We have schedules online and hard copy schedules available. We'll have a table also available for you to look at some of our literature and some newly published books, trails on of the peninsula. So if you feel that it's a little too crowded here, we have other groups that will be starting up. If you'd like to ask questions, please raise your hand and we'll answer as many questions as we can. We're going to have a good time, nice slow-paced walk today, so we're going to enjoy ourselves. Thank you. We've stopped here to take a look at the habitat behind us. The habitat is called sage scrub habitat. This Forestall area used to be a rock quarry, and as we walk along this road was one of the access roads of the quarry. The area around here, I'd like to point out, here on our side is a geologic formation. Happens to show us that this area was once covered by an ancient landslide, and here in the median is something called caliche. It's a hard pan. It's a crust of calcium that was once on the surface of this hillside. And this caliche is mostly calcium, and on top of it you see the debris of some of our slide. If we look around the area here, we have habitat, as I said, that is probably as pristine a sage scrub habitat as we can find around here, and yet it's all been revegetated by nature. This area here was once part of the rock quarry, and a significant part of this preserve was denuded. The rocks were removed for roadbed material, and the natural winds and birds revegetated the area to a point where we see now mostly just plain habitat. I'll let this group walk past us.
Is this mostly from local plants, or is this?
All of this is naturally occurring vegetation. We'll identify some of the plants as we go along, but for example, in our view here, we have the sagebrush, we have lemonade berry, we have coyote bush, and a lot of sage, the salvia, the mid-family plant. We'll see more of this as we continue. Here I stopped to introduce you to some of our trail signage. We have been walking on the Purple Sage Trail, and as we go back I'll identify which plants those are. But here we're going to start walking on the Conqueror Trail. The Conqueror Trail is named after one of the primary roads in the Seaview Tract here below us. As you walk this preserve, there's 162 acres or so of natural habitat here on the Forestall Preserve. You'll come across this signage, and it advises you of the distance to be covered from the junction here, the elevation change in feet, and the name of the trail. It also describes to you what type of traffic you'll encounter here, whether it be pedestrian, bicycle traffic, equestrian, and if any one of those would be restricted, it would have a line through it. So it's something to be watchful of, and that way you know which kind of trail you're on. The greater the elevation gain, of course, in the short run means that it's very steep. Here we have, for example, in 0.17 miles, we'll have a change of 134 feet. And as things go, that's not too steep, but it's a reduction in our elevation. So we'll be starting our downhill descent into the canyon. forest into the Klondike Canyon. Here around us, let me introduce some native and non-native plants. Of course, we have the coyote bush. There are male and female examples here on the trail. The bush behind it is the lemonade berry. This year with the drought, we're experiencing fewer and fewer blossoms on our native plants, and so a lot of what we expected to be in bloom this spring has not happened. So with the drought, we're just seeing a little less of what we normally see at this time of year. Now, beyond the lemonade berry, we have a non-native plant, a family member of the pistachio family. It's called Chinese pistache. It's very similar to the Brazilian pepper and just as invasive. It has appeared now in the preserves around the peninsula, and every work day we'll try to remove as many as we can. Another example of the kind of volunteerism that we have active here on the peninsula is our monthly work days, where volunteers remove non-native habitat, replant native vegetation, and do some trail work. So you're welcome to join us on those items along the schedule as well. We stopped here to identify some of the landmarks here on the ocean. We have Portuguese Bend right in front of us, bordered by a large point sticking out in the water there. That's Inspiration Point, the point that's nearest. And then the cove beyond that Inspiration Point is Sacred Cove or Smuggler's Cove. The next point is Portuguese Point, again named after the Portuguese whalers that manned the whaling station here up until the 1800s in Portuguese Bend. And then beyond Portuguese Point we have Abalone Cove, which used to be a rich source of abalone and is no longer. Beyond that, we have a large spit of land extending out in the ocean, and that is Long Point, the old site of the Marineland Park, and now the future site of a large development, hotel development, and small 9-hole golf course called Terranea. They just started work on the area, on the site, just a few weeks ago. So here in the next 2 years, we should see a large development being built there with public trails and public restaurants available, and a lot of public parking supposed to be there as well. This is a good point to stop also and identify some geology that's out in front of us. If we take a look at Long Point extending out in the ocean, and above Long Point we see what used to be beaches and beach cliffs, just as we see here down below us. We see a flat area and then a cliff face that's partially eroded, and another flat area and then a rounded cliff face that's very eroded, and all those were beach sites during the geologic epoch when this hill was rising up out of the ocean. It's still rising up out of the ocean about 0.4 millimeters a year, which is about the thickness of one sheet of paper. And for the children in the audience, every 100 years it would rise up the thickness of one chapter book. So that's quite a bit. Above that we have more of the ancient beach cliffs for a total of 13 different beach levels here on the peninsula, with the highest beach level up in the east side of the peninsula on the top of San Pedro Hill, sitting out there about 1,480 feet above sea level. So this hill is still growing up out of the ocean floor. One time it was an island with the nearest shoreline 35 miles away at the Santa Monica Mountains, and everything between the Santa Monica Mountains and the island was deep ocean, in some places 6 miles deep. Here at Long Point, the distance between Long Point and Catalina is about 17 miles to the isthmus, and the ocean depth here in pockets ranges around 3,000 feet, which is just a little over a half a mile. So it's quite a deep ocean between here and the San Gabriels and Santa Monica. It's a very deep blue water ocean, 6 miles deep in places. So that's just fascinating to me. Okay, so let's go on and see what else we can find. Here we've stopped at the bottom of Klondike Canyon, and the significant feature in front of us is this eroded trail. We have several kinds of pipes that's visible here. The metal pipe that we see in front of us is the old method of removing water and directing water through this canyon. And if we listen carefully, we can still hear water through this PVC pipe. Now that water is being taken out of a horizontal well just up canyon. And what that means is the well is actually dug sideways into the canyon wall to remove the natural occurring water in the strata, to remove it before it saturates the bentonite layer, which is that failure mechanism in the strata that when it gets wet becomes very slippery, and the point where land starts to fail and slip. So we have a continuing flow of water here in this canyon that is trying to be removed and directed out by the local assessment district through this PVC pipe. Around this canyon, we see again the natural habitat that's existed for many, many years. Right in front of us and behind us, we have the native salt bush, also known as quail bush. And this salt bush was used by the Native American Indians. Here locally we had the Tongva, which were known also as the Gabrielinos. The Chumash also lived around in the area. And those Indians and other Indians on the coast took advantage of the salt bush to provide them with table salt. And what they would do would be to throw some branches into the fire, and at the end of the day or next morning remove the ash, and salt crystals would be visible, and they'd collect the salt crystals and use it for their food. The salt bush finds it very comfortable to grow in alkaline soil, very salty soil, and here near the coast. It actually removes salt from the moisture in the air and from the soil, and collects it in the leaves and branches. And if you were to sample, which I invite you to sample, one of the leaves, you don't have to eat it, but just take the salt off the surface of the leaf, and it's very salty. So you should try that. It's not poison. And
I
it's
was
actually,
going to do it, but I was waiting for you to say
well,
it was
go
okay.
ahead and try it. The Native American Indians actually used the leaves as food,
It's good.
and they actually provided the flour mixture that they made their flatbreads out of, and their soup thickener. They provided the seeds from this plant to that mix, crush the ground the seeds up, and provide their flour mix with a little extra nutrition.
Are both of these pipes from street wash?
No, there's actually a natural aquifer occurring uphill, where the water is soaked through the sediment and collected behind some impermeable rocks, and made an aquifer. And this aquifer is pressurized because it's uphill from here, and the more water that seeps into this aquifer, the more pressure there is, and as the aquifer grows, then it seeps down into the bentonite layer, and the fear is that that bentonite layer would become saturated with water and become a failure mechanism.